Now, could the next 10 minutes add £10,000 to your pension?
Martin is here with his 6 tips to boost your pension pot this morning. Morning, Martin.
Morning.
Good morning.
I think we've got 2 new campaigners for you as well.
Quite
to get
right.
and Sue involved.
We'll get them on the road. We like campaign. Lots of new campaigns at the moment.
Get the government.
I won't do my carers allowance one, which I'm all worked up at the moment. We'll talk about that another day.
OK, fine. Let's talk pensions, though, today. Apparently, there's 27 billion sitting just hanging around lost old pensions.
£27,000 million of lost old pensions hanging around. I mean, pensions is enormous amounts of money, so all the sums are always very big. Now, what this is about is many people have lost track of their old pension. It's often a workplace pension from 20, 30 years ago that you're not really sure when you were young that you remembered contributing. Sometimes it's your old private pension, and people simply don't know about them. Now, the obvious thing to do, if you have it, is go and check your old paperwork and see whether you had a pension from an old employer. If you don't have that, there's something called the Pension Tracing Service, which is on gov.uk. It's totally free. And it has details of 200,000 old employers and old pension firms. You can put your details in there and it will tell you the firm you need to contact to see if you have a pension.
So what details do you need to put in? Is there any specific numbers?
You're going to be putting in your old employer if you can possibly remember it. You know, you do as best you can and it'll do. Nothing's perfect here.
It'll help.
But it's absolutely worth checking if you think, I can't remember if I had a pension when I first started work. Go and give it a check. 27 billion. Also, if someone very close to you, it has to be very close to you, so maybe your spouse has passed away before taking their pension, it might be included. But you want to know quite how significant this is. I'm just going to read you this one, an anonymous case study that I had in. Thanks to you promoting lost pensions on your TV show, we contacted the Pension Tracing Service and discovered a lost pension pot worth £82,000.
What?
Thank you, Martin. We didn't know where to start looking as it was over 40 years ago. My husband couldn't remember who it was with as he had lost all the paperwork. He was shocked to find the amount. That is not an uncommon amount I get when people try this. So, look, you might not be entitled to anything, but it is worth 5 minutes of your time to see if you have an old pension, especially those of us who are getting a bit more grey hair and don't remember what was going on 20 years ago.
Well,
not you. You're far too young for all this.
Just die mine. I won't.
Definitely not.
Just don't give me the secret away.
Let's talk about national insurance, because you need to have a set number of national insurance years.
This is the big and urgent one, right? And it's complicated. So I'm going to give you a broad brush, but I would suggest you go and read. There are free guides that people have written out there online, which is how I have to say it, step by step. But let me tell you what's happening. In 2016, they introduced what's called the new state pension as opposed to the old state pension. You don't need to know that. They put in place transitional arrangements. Those transitional arrangements were meant to last 2 years ago, stop about 2 years ago, but because somebody started talking about this and things got busy, they kept extending it.
Who could that possibly be?
The deadline for the transitional arrangements is this tax year, which means the 5th of April 2025. Now, here's the point. This is about if you're missing national insurance years. Currently, under the transitional arrangements, you can buy back years to 2006. From the 6th of April next year, when they end, you can only go back 6 years, which will be 2019. So if you're missing years between 2006 and 2019, which is a massive amount of years, you have to sort this out this year or you lose your chance forever.
Oh, wow.
OK. Now, there are 2 checks you need to do this, both on gov.uk. First of all, go and check your national insurance record. You need your government gateway details. It'll tell you if you're missing any years. If they're since 2006, you may be in some cases able to get them for free. If not, you may be able to buy them. Then check your state pension forecast. Are you predicted to get the full pension? Again, you'll need to go and do some reading to find out what this means. If you're not and you're missing years, you may be able to buy years to make up your pension. Now, again, it is conceptual. You need to do more. But here you go. The most a year can cost is just over 800 quid to buy an old year.
Right.
Just over. Some people it's cheaper because they're only missing partial years. Some get it free. Some are self-employed. It's cheap. But the most it can cost is £800. If you're not getting your full state pension, each £800 national insurance year you are missing adds £329 a year to your state pension entitlement. Right. So 800, 329.
Yep.
So if you take your state pension for 2.5 years and it's inflation-proofed, you'll get paid back. If you live the typical 20 years of state pension, well, you're getting £6,000 and it's costing you a maximum £800.
So it's worth doing.
It is and it's inflation-proofed. It is the best use of your money you will ever find.
Yeah.
Again, let me give you a case study. A huge thank you about the National Insurance Advice and phoning the pensions people. So very important before you do this. Future Pensions Centre is who you call if you're under state pension age. The pension service, if you're over state pension age, gov.uk now does have an automated process for some online. Huge thank you about the National Insurance Advice and phoning the pension people. I was missing 9 years. I phoned to be told all I needed was to buy 7 years to qualify me for an extra £40 a week, £2,000 a year.
Right.
If I hadn't phoned, I'd probably have paid £7,500 and lost about £1,800. I'm now looking to receiving the full pension. So that person boosted their pension by £2,000 a year. They lived 20 years. They boosted their pension by £24,000.
It adds up.
Please, if you're not sure, you need to do this checks. If you've not followed me, go and look online for the step-by-step help that's out there. You have to be careful. It's not simple, but this is a call to arms. You need to do it before the end of this tax year, or the opportunity, 13 years, disappears.
And you need 35 years, is that right?
Ish.
Yeah, so
you need a minimum 10 years,
okay.
You need 35 years-ish, but if you opted out of the state
right.
pension, you might need more. This is why you call the service.
And why would you have years missing, Martin?
You didn't claim your childcare, you lived out of the country, you didn't earn enough. There are lots and lots of different reasons. You might be owed 3 years because you were caring for your grandchildren and you didn't get the childcare credit transferred from your children. There are so many different ways.
Factors.
Just check.
Yeah. Okay.
Go and check. Easy thing to do. Go online, gov.uk, National Insurance Record. Are you missing years since 2006? State pension forecast. If you're not on the full state pension, you're missing some years, then go do more reading.
OK. Martin, what happens to your pension if you die?
Well, so we're talking private and company pensions here. The big thing is...
Can you leave them to somebody?
Yeah, but not in your will, which is what everyone gets confused.
Okay.
Pensions don't generally go in your will. Okay. What happens is the trustees will decide who the money goes to. Now, the important thing is you can do a thing called an expression of wishes form or a nomination form. Your pension provider will have it. It's normally on the website. That tells the trustees who you would like it to go to. Can't dictate because it's the trustees who decide, but it's a very strong indication. My big tip, if you haven't done that recently or you've never done it, go and make sure it's up to date because you do not want to leave your pension to your ex. Right? People update their wills. They don't update their expression of wishes.
Or the person in the other bedroom.
Another case study for you. I've kept them all anonymous because it's about... It's just happened to us. My mother-in-law died only for her pension firm to want her ex's details. They split 20 years ago. She would be spitting feathers if she knew.
Wow.
Expression of wishes or nomination form. It's not your will. Go to your pension provider and check who you're telling the trustees you want the money to go to.
OK, we're nearly out of time. So what are the key ones that you want to try and get through?
Well, we've got it. The last one's the most important.
OK,
right, the last one is this. Pensions is one of these very lucky areas where if you're not sure, if you've got any questions, especially, by the way, when you're taking your pension money out, you should always do this. That's really tricky. You can get free one-on-one guidance.
Yeah.
Right. Now, this comes from Pension-wise, if you're aged over 50, or Money Helper if you're aged under 50. You can call them up. You can get an hour-long appointment. They are financed by a levy on the financial services industry, a government impartial organisation.
So for nothing, you don't have to
pay. For nothing,
wow.
If you have, and it's guidance, if you have questions about pensions, don't make decisions unless you've spoken to these people first, because it can cost you tens of thousands of pounds if you got it wrong. Now, if you have a bigger pension fund, let's say £50,000, £75,000 or more, then you want to pay for independent financial advice, which is where they can also tell you what products to have. Guidance will talk about how the whole thing's worked, but they can't say, go and put your money in this one, go put your money in that one.
Right.
But for people who've got a bit more, pay for independent financial advice. There are lots more pension tips. We can do more another day, but I just wanted to whet your appetite. It's just enormous money.
Because they're 82,000.
It's enormous money.
Yeah,
Martin, thank you for coming in. Lovely to see you. We'll put all those details on the app, of course. They'll be on the website, and we'll get Martin back in to do more on this, because it's clearly a massive subject.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.